Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bob Will, and this is Metal and Madness. Now, today's reaction is Bittersweet Symphony, originally done by The Verve, but this version is a retake done by Ren. Now, I'm a huge fan of The Verve, or I was a huge fan of The Verve, and they released Urban Hymns back in 1997, 1998, and Bittersweet Symphony was the opening track on that. Now, it's a British staple. Everybody knows it. So again, without further ado, I'm just going to get into it because I want to see what Rem brings to the table, whether he brings it up to date, whether it's a straight cover. But I'm sure it'll be fantastic. So yeah, let's go. So the original the original version by The Verve had an orchestral piece in it as well, which I believe was taken from another track by Rolling Stones, for which there was also a court case about that. I don't know the ending of it, but I just thought that would be an interesting little fact. Let's go. Love the visuals of the estate.
I've got dirt on my Reeboks from staying up all night. I spent my last £10 on this pack of Marlboro Lights. I phoned up Stevie, I said, G, you alright? He said, it's 6 in the morning, brother, get some shut-eye. I feel a sense of well-being this time in the morning. Wear my heart out of my hoodie while the city is snoring. Drunks falling off the sidewalks get issued a warning. Distant sirens, they crescendo like a symphony calling. This is the Britain I know. This is...
So can't really call it a verse because I'm guessing he's going right through it. I probably would have stopped there and called it a verse. I don't want to break it down into a million little bits. Doesn't really need breaking down. But just some really cool lines straight off the bat. The worn out shoes, reflects a sort of night spent wandering the city. And that is pretty much it. But the other one then is, with only a tenner left, cigarettes take priority over the essentials. A familiar struggle for many back in the day, and probably still rings true for today. You've got your calls to your mates, the camaraderie, and the escapades. You have a chat about what you've been up to. And was it phoned up Steve, said, "You all right?" Just well be with my heart out on my hoodie while the city is snoring. Your hoodie, or in this case, I assume the hoodie, becomes sort of a shield, offering that moment of quiet reflection, or whatever else you'd like to call it, introspection. But meanwhile, while all that's going on, you've still got drunks falling off the curb, police sirens in the rear, wailing away. Just sort of gives you, a kind of city and estate poetry. Let's go.
While the city is snoring, drunks falling off the sidewalks get issued a warning. Distant sirens, they crescendo like a symphony calling. This is the Britain I know. This is the Britain I love. There's poetry inside the city if you listen enough. Working class casualties out on the street sleep rough, while a mother with her baby takes a pram to the pub. And while she's knocking them down, the cost of living goes up. I can't relate to politicians with their head in the mud. I resonate with messy Fridays with my boy smoking bud. We do our bit to numb the struggle, as below, so above.
Again, it's all hard lines, and he is. I can't say he's brought it fully into the modern world, because this has pretty much been life for the working class forever. some of the lines, this is the Britain I know, this is the Britain I love. I'm going to miss a few working class casualties out in the streets, sleeping rough. Mother brings a baby, takes a pram to the pub. What he's doing here is sort of paints a raw but, an affectionate picture of Britain, on the cities, on the estates, sort of embracing the culture and the struggle despite the flaws. It's, it's a great story. And it proves that even in hardship, that a story's worth telling, story's worth listening to. We've got homelessness, the harsh realities faced by the less fortunate. But he's also then critiquing the unhealthy coping mechanisms that many have, drinking and, alcohol use in struggling communities is a huge issue, along with drugs and various other things. But, that's what people use as coping mechanisms. It also sheds light on, the sort of economic hardship that, pushes people towards that escapism. It's great. And obviously taking a jab at the politicians. But yeah, I suppose it just weaves that sort of deeper message of universal cycle of struggle and, the way people cope with it, or the mechanisms they use to cope with it. Let's go.
Up. I can't relate to politicians with their head in the mud. I resonate with messy Fridays with my boy smoking bud. We do our bit to numb the struggle, as below so above, as above so below. Here in this city we glow. I blow a smoke ring up to heaven and it makes a halo. And then the clock strikes 7, guess it's time to head home. My companion is the city, so I'm never alone. Stepping in and out of gaps of the pavement cracks. If I go to sleep now, that's an anticlimax. People rise for work and the sun mirrors that. A perfect juxtaposition for those out on the lash. Bear with me, it's beautiful, I think it's irrefutable. There's beauty in the contradicting Britain, indisputable. Junkie in the cubicle, his old spoon is usable. His mother's in a black suit, crying at a funeral. 9 to 5 crucible, this route is not commutable. A kid falls off the tracks, then he serves a stretch at juvenile. Libby's at the Dolies, but her disposition's humorful. While Davy's at the bookies and his mates call him delusional Britain. Drink it down and moan about the weather when the sun starts shining. Feel the factor 10 tremor. Boys will be in it together till the fists start flying like the Conor McGregor, and then he's out. I think he took it too far. I think the boy saw red. I think he hit him too hard. Now he's face down on the pavement with a face full of tar. Mad how small altercations can define who we are.
Jeez, a lot there. I'm not going to break down everything. Doesn't need it. But yeah, the last sort of couple of lines, verses, whatever you want to call them, because they all sort of run into one. Ren doesn't sort of shy away from, the telling the sort of brutal realities of urban life and, painting the stark picture of addiction, its devastating impact, as most of us are well aware. And not just on, drug users, alcohol users, but also on the families and those around them, their loved ones. So, yeah. And again, he captures the suffocating grind of the working class, where one mistake, when it's sort of a kid falling off the tracks, you've got one mistake can land you in a system that is an absolute nightmare to get out of. Some do, some don't. It's life. But again, then he sort of, points out even in hardship, resilience shines through. What was her name? Libby, the woman on welfare. Libby is at the Dolies. But yeah, she still keeps a humour. Then we had the guy in the bookies, the gambler clinging to his slim odds that, that horse, that dog, something's going to come in and that money's coming in, going to drag him up or pull him up a little bit. So yeah, it's a sharp take on culture, and highlights the sort of irony of constant complaints while sort of repeating the same cycles then. just scanning through the lyrics again. So yeah, while sort of repeating the same cycles, you know, where we even make it, you know, a sunny day feel like an event, which we do because we don't have many. But also exploring the volatility of camaraderie, where, you know, he's talking about the night out, which turns into a fight. You know, it quickly turn violent, small conflicts, little argument, couple of words can just spiral into a life-changing event. So yeah, and again, he sort of reminds us how those fleeting moments can define us. It's great. Let's go.
I think the boy saw red. I think he hit him too hard. Now he's face down on the pavement with a face full of tar. Mad how small altercations can define who we are. That's my cue. I guess it's time to head home. Bittersweet how my high found its way to below. And I've said it once before, as above so below. Living on the streets of Britain, you just go with the flow. But I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out for the night. As the sun paints the pavements, I'll turn out the light. White noise on the radio to quiet my mind. I always was an overthinker, just the way I'm designed. Britain, drink it down and moan about the weather. When it's all said and done, we'll be in it all together. Boys, we'll be like you forever. It's a bittersweet symphony with birds of a feather.
Absolutely.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's life.
Love the visuals.
Trying to make ends meet. You're a slave to money, then you die.
Yeah, so great ending. Getting a few lines, not going to break you down too much. I'm done, I'm out for the night. Sun paints the pavements, I'll turn out the light. Always an overthinker. It's a bittersweet symphony with birds of a feather. Yeah, as the night fades, the days move on to the next, as does the chaos. This sort of gives way to a quiet moment of reflection. The sunrise contrast with the end of his thoughts, which is sort of a poetic shift, isn't it, from the turbulence to stillness. White noise hums in the background. Yeah, a tool too quiet for an overthinker or an overactive mind. White noise, yeah, that's the white noise. Always an overthinker. It's a bittersweet symphony. Yeah. So while his sort of self-awareness highlights the, constant battle with overthinking, then the final line there, bittersweet symphony, ties everything back together, doesn't it? Or ties the entire thing together, closing the note, the journey, the song on a bittersweet note. Just perfectly sort of captures the theme of the song, and that's it. Absolutely brilliant. Love what he did with it, and as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go back, as I always do, listen to it without any breaks. Good few times, because it's fantastic. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.